Hello everyone, welcome back to Criminal. Today we're diving into a wild world of smugglers, sneaks, and some seriously questionable decisions. We're talking about the craziest things people have tried to get across borders. I mean, we've all seen the movies, right? People stuffed in suitcases, drugs hidden in teddy bears, monkeys with tiny suitcases. Okay, maybe not that last one. But seriously, some people will try anything to get something across a border illegally. Get ready to be shocked because some of these stories are straight up unbelievable. We're talking about things that'll make you laugh, gasp, and maybe even scratch your head a little. So buckle up, hit that like button, and let's get into the 7 craziest border busts you won't believe. Our first story takes us to the vibrant and diverse continent of South America, where one audacious individual took the illegal act of bird smuggling to an unprecedented level. This isn't your grandma's parakeet, people. We're talking about some seriously exotic birds here. Imagine a guy who thought it was a good idea to strap 90 finches to his body. Can you even fathom that? This bizarre incident took place back in 2015. The smuggler, let's call him Feathery Phil, believed he could casually stroll through customs with a little extra padding. He probably even practiced that "nothing to see here" whistle, trying to appear nonchalant. Phil was stopped at the airport in Guyana, where customs officials noticed he was acting a little off, to say the least. Maybe he was doing the chicken dance or something equally suspicious, we don't know for sure. But their suspicions were aroused, and they decided to give him a thorough pat down. Well, it turned out to be more like a bird down because, surprise, they discovered 90 tiny, terrified finches taped to his legs and chest, hidden under his clothes. The poor birds were all crammed together, chirping like crazy, probably wondering what was happening. I guess Phil thought he could just blend in with the cacophony of 1,000 bird calls at the airport. Needless to say, Feathery Phil was promptly busted and taken into custody. The birds were confiscated and hopefully sent to a nice, spacious aviary where they could recover. And Phil? Well, let's just say he learned the hard way that smuggling isn't for the birds. It's a serious crime with serious consequences. Okay, remember that movie Snakes on a Plane? The one with Samuel L. Jackson fighting off a plane full of venomous snakes? Well, this next story is like that, but way less Samuel L. Jackson and way more disturbing and definitely more bizarre. We're talking about a guy who tried to sneak a bunch of snakes onto a plane by hiding them in his pants. Yes, you heard that right, in his pants. Can you even imagine the audacity and the discomfort? This slithery situation went down in 2012 at Miami International Airport, a place known for its bustling activity and stringent security measures. A man was flying in from Brazil, and something about him just seemed off to the TSA agents. Maybe it was his nervous demeanor or the odd way he was walking. Maybe he had a weird bulge in his pants. A very, very alive bulge. It was enough to raise eyebrows and suspicions. They pulled him aside for questioning. And that's when things got real. The man started to sweat and the truth slithered out. The man confessed that he had snakes hidden in his pants. Not just 1 or 2, mind you, he had 7 snakes in there, and these weren't your tiny, harmless garden snakes. We're talking boa constrictors, people. These are large, powerful snakes that can grow to be quite dangerous. The agents were like, "Nope, not today, Satan," and called in the wildlife experts. They knew this was beyond their usual contraband. The snakes were confiscated, and the man was arrested. He was taken into custody, and the snakes were handed over to the proper authorities. I don't know what's crazier, the fact that he thought he could get away with it or the fact that he managed to fit 7 snakes in his pants in the first place. That's some serious dedication to smuggling. Or maybe just a severe lack of common sense. Either way, it's a story that will go down in the annals of bizarre airport security incidents. This next story is proof that some people will try to smuggle anything, even if it means ruining a perfectly good chocolate egg. We're talking about a woman who tried to sneak drugs across the border, inside Kinder Surprise eggs. I know, right? Who messes with Kinder eggs? This happened back in 2016 at the Canadian border. A woman was driving across from the US, and she probably thought she was being super clever by hiding the drugs in the little yellow capsules inside the chocolate eggs. But here's the thing, border agents have seen it all. They're like the Sherlock Holmes of smuggling, and they can sniff out contraband faster than you can say chocolate surprise. So they searched her car and guess what they found? You got it, a whole bunch of Kinder Surprise eggs filled with drugs. The woman was arrested and I'm sure she had a lot of explaining to do. To the police, to her family, and maybe even to the Kinder company for ruining their good name. The moral of the story? don't mess with the law, and definitely don't mess with Kinder Surprise eggs. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this next story is fishy. Literally. We're talking about a woman who tried to smuggle 51 live goldfish across the border, in water-filled bags taped to her body. You know, like you do. This happened in 2005 at Melbourne Airport in Australia. A woman was flying in from Singapore and she must have really loved her goldfish because she was willing to go to extreme lengths to bring them with her. She had these special water-filled bags taped all over her torso, each one containing a goldfish. I can only imagine what the TSA agents were thinking when they saw her on the scanner. Is that a fish? And another one? Wait, are those all fish? The woman was stopped and the jig was up. The goldfish were confiscated and probably sent to a nice big aquarium where they could swim freely without being taped to someone's stomach. And the woman? Well, she learned the hard way that smuggling goldfish is a bad idea. This next story is about as bizarre as it gets. We're talking about a man who tried to launch himself over the US-Mexico border, using a homemade cannon. You can't make this stuff up, people. This happened back in 2011, and the man, who clearly had a flair for the dramatic, built a cannon out of scrap metal and loaded himself into it. His plan? To blast himself over the border fence and into the United States. I'm not sure what he was expecting on the other side, maybe a marching band and a red carpet. Anyway, things didn't exactly go according to plan. The cannon malfunctioned and the man ended up being launched straight into a pile of manure. That's right, a big steaming pile of manure. The Border Patrol agents who witnessed the whole thing were probably like, what in the world just happened? The man was arrested and I'm sure he had a lot of explaining to do, and probably a lot of showering. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this next story is juicy, literally. We're talking about a shipment of pineapples that were stuffed with cocaine. That's right, cocaine pineapples. This happened back in 2017, and Spanish police seized over 2,000 pounds of cocaine that was hidden inside hollowed-out pineapples. The pineapples were shipped from Costa Rica, and they were disguised to look like regular, innocent fruit. But the police weren't fooled. They had received a tip-off, and they were ready for the fruity drug smugglers. They x-rayed the shipment of pineapples and discovered that something was amiss. Instead of seeing the usual pineapple insides, they saw packages of white powder. The police arrested several people in connection with the cocaine pineapples, and the drugs were taken off the streets. So, the next time you're at the grocery store, be careful which pineapples you choose. You never know what might be hiding inside. Travel experience. And there you have it, folks, the 7 craziest border busts you won't believe. From snakes in pants to cocaine pineapples, we've seen it all. It just goes to show that people will go to great lengths to smuggle things across borders, even if it means risking their freedom and looking completely ridiculous in the process. So, the next time you're tempted to sneak an extra snack through airport security, or bring back a souvenir from another country, just remember these stories and think twice. It's probably not worth the risk. If you liked the video, a subscribe to the channel would be